think we're on.
Hi, guys.
Hi, everyone. Can you confirm if you can hear us and if you can see us?
In the chat. People can hear us.
Oh, that's good to know. They can see us.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Cool. I guess you don't need that video.
Yeah.
Moved into
we'll just leave it there.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Awesome.
Well, maybe we should wait another couple minutes.
Yeah, we still have a number of people joining us and logging in, so welcome. We're going to give everybody a couple more minutes.
Yeah.
In case they lost the invite link. Yay, still joining. Oh, I want one of our bookmarks.
Oh, perfect.
While you wait, if anybody wants to go ahead and follow us on Instagram, you can find us.
At UCSB Engineering.
UCSB Engineering for everything. Twitter. We don't Snapchat anymore. I don't know if anybody does.
We don't have MySpace. We probably should.
I'll put a really great song up on our profile page. Make a sparkly background. Like, I don't know, is there a MySpace on here? We have a defunct Twitter and a defunct Snapchat.
I think the Twitter's still active.
Is it?
It's just not us.
Yeah.
It's like research.
I don't tweet. But if you follow us on our Instagram, we put up notices and you'll see snaps from events in our stories.
Okay, we'll get started. Hi again, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Haley. I'm the Director of Advising for the College of Engineering.
And I'm Katie. I'm a college advisor and I work with Haley in the office.
So really typically you'll come, I'll change the slide here. You will come to see us in our office, which is listed there during our office hours. You can just walk in. You can ask us questions typically about general education requirements and all the things that you looked at in our kind of online PowerPoint presentations, hopefully before this. And you can also just think of us as a resource to help guide you to other offices. So we're really happy if you just come in just to ask a question, to grab some candy. We're happy to be here for you. So take a screenshot of this. You can contact us at any time through those phone number or email address. There's 3 advisors, including us, who answer that email address. So always reach out through that.
From your email, please.
Mm-hmm. And as we go along, feel free to ask any questions in the Q&A section of the webinar. We'll try to cover them as we go, or we'll definitely cover everything at the end if it isn't relevant to what we're talking about right now.
And just so you guys know, this is strictly touching on academic advising and your schedule for fall. There are tons of things that we could get into further, but most of it will be individual to you. So come on in and talk to us. We also can't go over things like housing and, billing. We know where to direct you for those questions, but we're not housing advisors or billing department staff, so we cannot answer those questions.
So let's get started. So the gear, which hopefully you're sort of familiar with, looks like this. We hope you'll all get your own copy when you join us on campus in the fall. For now, you can get it online at the link on the screen, or you can download an app. So we made these bookmarks. If you see them around with information on how to download the app through UCSB guides. This booklet contains really important information about requirements, including general education requirements for both the University of California and for our college, as well as your major requirements. And it has descriptions of all the courses in the college, information about different programs. Possibly most helpful, or the thing you'll reference the most, are these major sheets and grids. So you'll hear us say very often, stay on grid. All the grids are your 4-year plan, and they are listed in the gear. So campus resources. We went over a bit of this in those other online presentations, but there's a lot of resources on campus, and we recognize that it can be a bit overwhelming to navigate those. So just as a brief overview, if you're looking for academic help, if you're struggling with any of your academics, there are a number of resources. CLAS, or Campus Learning Assistance Services, is free tutoring. So they offer courses and individualized tutoring for a lot of the lower division math, physics, chemistry type courses. Again, it's all free. You can access the schedule on the CLAS website. All students go to them. Really, it's not just for students who are struggling. Students who want to get an A, they will be in CLAS learning as much as they can to get that A. There's also help in what these labs, so math lab, physics study hours, or chemistry lab. There's graduate students in these labs helping to do the homework for those lower division and even upper division courses. You can just Google UCSB Math Lab and you'll find out where that is. It's within the math department. And office hours. So office hours are required. All faculty, all professors, all graduate students who are your teaching assistants are required to have office hours. That will be your primary resource for getting help with homework questions, trying to understand what you might need to write about for an essay in a class. You just drop in during their office hours and get your questions answered. A lot of times they sit there all alone waiting for students to come ask them questions. There's also a number of health resources on campus. There's student health. The website is there. We encourage you to utilize that resource. If you have questions about insurance, there are insurance staff in the health center, so you can ask them about health insurance. Try to get that sorted out before you come to campus, but you know if you access those resources, what it will cost you based on insurance, etc. There's also mental health resources on campus. Counseling and psychological services, or CAPS, is the most commonly used resource. They have a huge staff of counselors. We encourage you to go there early, get familiar with them, utilize the peers. They have a massage chair there if you just need to relax. So we really try to destigmatize that. All students, I think, at some point really do access those mental health resources to be as successful as possible in college. And as Katie mentioned, we can't help you with housing questions or with billing questions or with financial aid questions. Those are really specific to those offices. So UCSB is very large. We encourage you to ask. You must ask the resource that's specific to your question. So just like we can't answer a housing question, the housing staff can't answer a general education question. But that being said, academic advisors are very well connected. And so if you come into our office and say, I have this question and I don't know where to go, we're very happy to send you in the right direction. We can often call ahead and make sure somebody's there and get you connected with the right resource. So never hesitate to ask us. Just know that we might not have the answer, but we will send you to the correct person to get the answer.
Deadlines. We are very different than Lauders in Science in the sense that we're very strict about our deadlines. So you may hear things from students that you're taking a class with or have been here for a couple years say, oh, just go and late drop that class. It's fine. I was able to do it. They were not in the College of Engineering. So it's best not to take their advice. So UCSB and the College of Engineering does have strict deadlines and for deadlines for making changes to your schedule. This includes add, drop, or grading change option. So you're responsible solely for making those changes and making sure they were saved in the system. Becoming familiar with the deadlines is super important. You can always find deadlines in gold underneath registration. So you can toggle between quarters, active quarters or past quarters. No need to look at deadlines for past quarters. But always go into registration tab in gold, add those deadlines onto your Google Calendar so that they give you a reminder the day before. That way you don't miss the opportunity to drop a class or to change a grading option, because it is very rare we make exceptions to that policy. Also, make sure you go back into gold and check that a change you made was saved. If you didn't click save or click final modification, whatever button they have, we have no record to show that you logged into your gold and tried to make a change. So unless the system blocked you for a reason, we can potentially see that. We see when you make changes. We can see if something successfully was added or dropped, but we can't see failed attempts. So always log back into gold. Make sure that the class that you dropped is actually dropped from your schedule, or that the grading change option on your schedule screen actually shows what you intend to take the class for. And the writing course placement. So some of you might have had questions about this coming in. So if you have not taken SAT, ACT, or AP English with passing scores to place you into a writing class, you will need to take an entry-level writing exam. For our domestic students, you would take the OPI. That's the first one listed there. Registration is required, and this is only offered once a quarter. So if you're an incoming domestic student and you maybe didn't take AP English, or you didn't pass with a 3 or higher, you will need to take this exam. Be sure to log into that link and register. Be sure to save it on your calendar. International students will take the English language placement exam, or the ELFI, and that is on the Friday that you're moving into campus. Registration is not required. You will need your student ID and I believe a pencil. The location still to be determined on their website, but that is being offered by the
English for multilingual students.
EMS department, and they will send out notifications or update their website. So ELFI at UCSB in Google will take you to their page, and hopefully they should have an updated location in next a couple days before that exam is being held.
Yeah, I don't know. Umail, that's your university email account. So we're hoping you're checking your email very frequently already. That's where you will get emails from us about special opportunities, reminders about deadlines. It's your responsibility to check that email. If you miss an email there and you miss something, we won't be able to help you with that. Do not forward your email. We find that if you're forwarding email to another account, it's common that a lot of that email will go to your junk mail, and then you're gonna miss it. So please don't forward it, just get in the habit of checking it regularly. And you also need to use it to email campus staff. We can't respond to personal questions unless we can verify your identity. And the only way for us to do so is if it's through your email. So as Katie mentioned earlier, if you're going to send us an email, please use your email so that we know it's you.
Also, some emails, especially from international students, have been found in our spam box, which we don't check that frequently. So if you're international, definitely send it from your email if you have access, because there are a couple things that we might not ever get otherwise. Yay, and so what you guys are all here for, fall quarter course enrollment.
All right, so we've enrolled you in your courses for fall quarter. If you don't have courses, that means we didn't hear from you, so we didn't really know what to put you in or if you were coming. So please reach out to us and let us know. We'll give you some instructions on how to fix that. You did all receive an email with some instructions about what you might need to change in your fall schedule, some action you might need to take. So please go back to that email and let us know if you have questions. You can check your schedule on Gold. We'll go over this in detail with some screenshots in a minute, but Gold is the primary place that you will access all of your student records. You'll access your final grades. You can run progress checks there. So you'll be very familiar with Gold very soon. Let's see, if please don't drop any of your major courses. Many courses on campus right now are just in general full. So if you drop your chemistry course, there's no way that we're going to get you back into that course. Some other student will immediately take that seat. So anything in chemistry, math, computer science, engineering, please don't drop those courses. Those are appropriate for your first quarter. If you think that we've placed you into the wrong course, please contact us. We will look into it. We can potentially help you, but don't drop it yourself. If you need to make a change to a general education requirement, you may do so. Just know that there's not much left. So proceed with caution, and we will go over how to make modifications to your schedule without dropping classes. And this is the only quarter that you'll be enrolled in classes by an advisor. In the future, it's up to you to know when your times are to register. We call those pass times, and to do so at the very beginning of that pass time for best availability. And to reach out to us if you have questions about what to enroll in prior to your actual pass time.
We did have a question about where can I get my student ID if I'm not attending orientation. I think everybody, regardless of if you attend orientation or not, picks that up at the UCEN, which is our university center. They're up on the ground, technically the ground floor, which is the middle floor, above the food court. So if you're coming in, if you're international, you should be directed through a brief international orientation that you'll do to pick that up. So
it's called the information desk.
Yes.
And again, this is the website for Gold, which is where you'll track your grades, enroll in your classes, and we are going to share with you some screenshots. We don't have access to actually live access Gold, so the best we can do is screenshots. But if you come in person, we're happy to walk you through your own Gold. And don't share your password. Again, don't give that password to your parents. Don't give that password to a third-party site that might be offering you some sort of service. It's very important that you maintain your schedule yourself. We don't know if your parents logged in and dropped you out of a class. We're not going to be able to help with that. So really just keep that to yourself.
Don't give it to your girlfriends or your boyfriends or your significant other in general. Now we're going to go through Gold a little bit. So this is our new view for Gold, Gaucho Online Data. It's where you'll log in always. There is an option for help for some demo videos. Unfortunately, since our new view of Gold is just updated this year, they haven't made new videos with it yet. So stay tuned for that. Check back because they could show up at any time. So when you log in, you might be taken to a screen that says, you have new messages. Be sure to check your messages. You'll find your messages here, and not a lot of people do, but that's where you'll know if a petition was entered on your behalf. That's where you'll know when your new student profile is created, which means that all of your transfer work was officially put into our system and you have a profile now. So check the messages. It's good. You might find out that you have pastimes for your future quarter, and you'll know to go in and check and save those. So you'll be taken to a default view, My Schedule. This is where you'll see your classes for fall quarter. It might default you to summer 2018 because that's the quarter we're in. So go ahead and change that to fall 18, and you'll see what we've placed you in. And it will look somewhat like this. So a lot of you might be in a similar schedule to what this looks like, with a writing and a CS and a math, or an engineering 3 and some chemistry. You will see information like where the room is held. This top class is your lecture. So this is the large classroom that you'll be going and listening to a professor talk. And the class underneath, that is one day, is the discussion section. So that's usually led by a TA or a grad student. and it's a review session of what happened and what was taught that week in class. Those are really important to go to because they're an opportunity to ask questions that you might not have had a chance to clarify in a lecture with 300 or 400 other people. That's a chance to get a head start on homework with a TA there to ask questions of. So those are important to go to. You will find at the bottom our final exam schedule. We do our best to never place you into finals that you'll have 3 in one day for your first quarter. Can't say that it won't ever happen. If any of you do see that you somehow have 3 finals in one day for fall quarter, please let us know. 2 is not uncommon and likely will be hard to avoid, so that's fine. So you will also want to make sure that you don't have any finals that overlap. That should never happen, but if you have a conflict in your schedule, that's where that would come up. Waitlisted courses, when you're waitlisted, it will show up there. If it doesn't show you a class there, you did not successfully waitlist. All right, so this side is the important side that you'll need for your upcoming past twos in a couple days. So you see you have the drop feature. If we've placed you in 12 units, you will not be able to go below 12. So the system locks you into full-time status once you are there. So if you are in 12 units and you wanted to drop the GE we put you into, you will have to add another 4-unit class in order to drop the 4-unit class. Modify allows you to change your grading option. It also allows you to link or unlink classes, which we'll get into a little bit when we go over waitlist. But modify, so mainly it's where you'll go to change your grading option. You should only ever take a class pass no pass if it's for your GEs. And I mean your general education. If it's for a science elective, that's still a major requirement. And just because it says elective doesn't mean you can take it pass no pass. The only classes you should be taking pass no pass are GEs. If we see that you took a required course for pass no pass, because maybe you plan to retake it later, we will make you change that back. So just know you can never ever take any of your math or science or engineering courses for pass no pass, only letter grade. The switch feature is what some of you might want to use if you don't like your discussion time. So that time with your TA that you are reviewing, maybe we placed you into 8 o'clock and there's seat in a 4 o'clock that you prefer, that's fine. If you use switch, you will maintain your seat in the lecture and simply switch your space in the discussion. So if you click switch, it should show you if there's availability in any other class. Go ahead and save that and you should see that the discussion will change, but the lecture will not. Again, as Haley said, do not drop a class unless you're very, very sure you want to drop it. Your seat, often, if there's an active waitlist, a student will be pulled from that waitlist and your seat will be gone. So it is and you don't just accidentally drop classes because it does ask you to confirm. So you really had to make that choice if you clicked 2 buttons. Okay, registration. This is where I said you'll find your pastimes. So you'll probably see that your past 2 starts in a couple days and everybody's does typically stagger by time. So it's very important to log in at the time if you can. If you're at work, take a 15-minute break and go tell your boss, sorry, I have to go register for classes and my portal's opening right now. Because in 2 hours, 100 more students might open up. So seats won't just stay where they are. Check your goal today and make sure that your past 2 is set for a couple days from now and that it has at least a window of a few days. If it doesn't, something is wrong, and please email us or email the registrar so that they can fix that. In the future, you will have a past 1. It is very, very important to utilize your past 1 and utilize it well. Advisors are happy to tell you which classes are best to go after in past 1 versus past 2. For freshmen, your math, your physics, your chemistry should all be taken in past 1. If you do not register in your past 1, you will be charged a late fee. Oh, again, this is where you'll find all the important deadlines. So as you can see, these are the actual deadlines for the upcoming year. So you'll see the last day to add is the 17th. The fee to add or drop is about $3, so don't be terribly concerned about the drop without fee deadline. The important one is last day to drop, last day to change grading option is always the latest in the quarter. And of course, fee deadlines are important as well, but that's a different office. Okay, again, this just reminds you to check your deadlines. I say save them in your calendar, set some reminders, and also it shows you the unit limit for your pastimes. So each pastime has a certain amount of units you can register for, which is why it's important to prioritize classes well. So in the first pass, you can only go up to 13.5. In the second pass, you'll only be able to go up to 19. And this includes waitlisted classes unless you link them. And then pass 3 is 21 units. And we do not advise that any freshmen take over the recommended 17, 18 unit course load for fall quarter. Okay, so how to find classes. Some of you might want to add in some GEs in your pass 2 coming up, or a writing class, and that would be great. You can search by subject. This is very general view, so if you have a department you're interested in, go ahead and use that find course feature. Make sure you're in the proper quarter. It might default you to summer. Make sure you're in fall. And then I'm going to show you advanced search, which is my personal favorite to find GEs. It has a ton of filters, so you can really get specific. For our students, you'll want to make sure that your course level is lower division, because none of you can take upper division yet. You can change this to may apply to GE College of Engineering, and then letter areas. Okay. So this is what that looks like. Lower division courses, as I mentioned, you'll only be able to take lower division courses while you're a freshman and sophomore level. Lower division means anything under 100 series. So anything numbered 1 to 99, such as CS8, Chicano Studies 1, etc. Upper division courses are 100 series, anything labeled 100 to 199. And then graduate level courses are 200 and above. And none of you should be going after graduate level courses just yet. So your levels are based on the units that you're coming in with, not your true start year. So some of you might be in junior status mid-sophomore year, and then you'll be able to start going after those 100 series courses. This is where you can specify College of Engineering General Education. Letters in Science does have an Area C, which is science, for their GEs. Our students do not take Area C GEs. So it's important to just go ahead and pull those out. Look only for GEs that apply to the College of Engineering. And then you can specify the GE area or special topic area you want. For instance, area letter G or F. You can also look for things that cover ethnicity. The one thing that you can't do is search for writing, the special subject writing requirement. There are too many courses and the system will just give you an error message. So if you are looking by that requirement, you'll want to look within a specific department. So if you were going to go ahead and add a class, as I mentioned, most courses will have a lecture, which is a large classroom of, as you can see, this one's 800 students. And then you'll have smaller discussion sections of about 30 students, and that's your chance to review and ask questions specifically of a TA in that field. So you will add by getting a seat in the discussion. You do not add the lecture. So when you're writing down enrollment codes to plan ahead, you want to write down the enrollment code that is linked with the discussion you want, not the lecture. If there's only a lecture, then yes. Otherwise, if you get a seat in discussion, you'll have one in the lecture. If there are no seats in this discussion for you, you can't get into that lecture. So under course info is where you'll find some information, general description of what the course is going to teach you, as well as the areas it will apply to for GEs. For instance, Anthropology 2 would fall under Area D, and it would also give you a special subject, World Cultures. That's all the way at the bottom. If you do not see a list like this there, then it's not a GE and it should not be taken as such. Right. Just so you know, if it says something like can apply to area D and area E, it will only fill in one letter area. So some courses you might see, oh, it gives me all these things. The system will place it where it needs to be. So if you take something that could be art or culture, it'll shift it to wherever you have an open spot.
All right, I think I'll take it this part. Wait lists and crashing. So what do you do if a class that you want to take is full? First, you can go to the department website and see if they have a crashing or waitlist policy. That should give you some sense of if you might be able to get into the class, if they're accepting non-majors into that course. Say it's a sociology course you really want to take, you're not a sociology major. Is there any chance a non-sociology major, an engineering major, would get into that course? You might find that on the website. If the course is for your major, so it's required as per your grid, and you can't get in, please come see us. You can talk to the college or you can talk to your major advisor. We may be able to help you get into the course. There's no guarantees, but we will usually try to really see what we can do. If there is a wait list, you will see that is available on Gold. You may add yourself to it. And always attend the first class meeting. And that means crashing. So professors are expecting there to be crashers in their courses. You won't be the only one. They usually have a list. You can put your name down, or they'll address you as a group and let you know kind of what the chances are of you getting into that course. You usually do have to attend the first day of a class, even if you're on the wait list, to find out if you actually will get in. Most of the time, a professor who sees that a student who's on the wait list didn't actually go to class, he won't consider you to add. So definitely make sure to go to the first day of class and find out what the policy is. All right, so in terms of listing a course, we have some screenshots from Gold for that. As you can see here, this course is full, so it has a wait list. If you click on the wait list button, you're only permitted to waitlist on Gold if you've already enrolled in 12 units. So that's to make sure that you have full-time status. So if you're not already in 12 units, you will have to add at least 12 units before it will let you waitlist. So once you click on waitlist, you see this screen here that shows you all the different times of the course. You should check all the times that fit in your schedule. Don't check a time that conflicts with another course that you need. Only check the times that fit and check as many as possible. As you may be able to see on here, an 8 a.m. section is far more likely to have spaces than a 11 a.m. section. That's also true for the evening time. So if you do have space in your schedule at 8 a.m. and you really want that course or you really need that course, definitely be sure to check the 8 a.m. section or lecture and go to the class on the first day. Students are more likely to drop from an 8 a.m. course. You'll also select if you want to take the course letter graded or pass no pass. And you may choose to link the course with a course you're already enrolled in. What that means is if you click yes, you'll be asked to select from the courses you're currently enrolled in. If you get off the waitlist and are added to the course that you've waitlisted, you'll be automatically dropped from the course that you linked it to. So you want to be sure that you know that's going to happen. You're not going to get a warning. Just once your spot on the waitlist comes up, you'll be added to the course. The other course will be dropped. So it's your responsibility to keep track of all that on Gold before the quarter begins and know exactly what you're enrolled in at all times. Beware of duplicate matriculation. So that's two really long words. Basically means that you cannot receive credit for a course you already have credit for. So if you took an AP psychology class, AP psychology test, and you passed it with a 3, 4, or 5, you now have credit for Psychology 1 at UCSB. You may not enroll in Psychology 1 here. If you did, you would not get any credit for that course. Your grade in that course would not apply to your GPA. And this can impact your financial aid. It can impact other things negatively because they do remove credit. So be careful. And if you think that we have enrolled you in a course that you already have credit for, you must reach out to us. We didn't know about all of the AP courses you've taken. We probably didn't know at all if you took a community college course when we enrolled you in classes. So now it's your responsibility to go to Gold and make sure that we haven't enrolled you in a course you already took. And please reach out if you think we have. We can definitely double check any credit prior to the term starting and resolve any of those issues.
Or if you're taking anything not through UCSB for the summer, we definitely could not know about that. So if you're taking a writing class at a CC right now, please let us know. Yay! And then this is to let you know about Discover Engineering. It's during Week of Welcome, so that you'll move in. And then Tuesday, we have an engineering hour-long fair in the Chem 1, I believe is where we'll hold it this year. We'll have some free food. We'll have some engineering swag that we order ourselves, so you can't buy it anywhere. You only get it from us at Discover Engineering. We'll also have tons of resources and orgs tabling. Also, all the advisors in the college will be tabling. Career Services, our corporate affiliates department, who brings all of our companies to campus and builds relationships with people who want to hire our engineers or offer them internships. So it's a great opportunity to see everything that the College of Engineering specifically has to offer. And then afterwards, it is followed up by a mandatory department meeting with your advisor, and they leave and direct students directly from the Discover Engineering Fair. So be sure to come join us at noon. Be sure to stay until 1 so you can be directed to where your important department org meeting is, where they'll be going over important things that you need to do in the next 4 years.
All right, so we hope you maybe have questions, maybe not. You can write them into the Q&A box, or if you think your question's more specific to you, you think of it later, feel free to email us. We will get back to you by the next business day. So we'll kind of just wait. No one has asked us any questions yet. So if you have anything lingering.
Anything specific. I will say we made some GE changes. So if you were looking at an old gear and got really familiar with it, we did change our general education and took some things away. So previously we did accept AP language as a GE to fill a GE area. We no longer accept that anymore. It will still come in as units. It's just not going to knock off a general education area for you. What else? Like I said earlier, follow us on Instagram, because we do post reminders about the deadlines and the stories, and we post reminders. Mainly we use the story feature to post reminders about events that are coming up, org events. When they're selling our awesome UCSB t-shirts, our Engineering Student Council sells them quarterly, and they set up at sporadic times. So another resource we didn't mention that is offered during the fall and spring quarters is Tau Beta Pi, which is a National Honor Society of Engineers. That is an organization on our campus, and you have to be invited in. It's based on your GPA, and our juniors and seniors host tutoring hours right behind our office where we're sitting here in our undergraduate conference room. It's basically just student use. It's open during the day for studying if you need a quiet place to study. And those are students who are in upper division courses within your major, who've already taken classes that you are going to be required to take, and they are required to offer tutoring sessions in order to maintain their chapter.
So we have a question about AP tests. So how do you know what credit you received for different AP exams? That is all in the gear. There's basically really long charts of information. You can also find it in the UCSB General Catalog. There's a column that shows how many units awarded. So those units are often 8 or 4. There's also a column that shows any general education credit you may have received from that AP exam. And the final column shows if there's any UCSB course equivalent. So again, as I mentioned with psychology, if you received a score of 3, 4, or 5 on the AP psychology exam, you'll have received 4 units, 1 Area D general education course, and it's the equivalent of Psychology 1. So I would guess that you can find this online. Well, if you find the gear, you can find it. If you Google UCSB AP credit, you'd likely find a table like this. The more common one is math. If you scored a 3, 4, or 5 on the Calculus BC mathematics exam, you received 8 units. There's no general education course credit for that, but it does cover Math 3A and 3B of your major requirements. So you will have placed yourself into Math 4A.
And I know this question was submitted in registration, and I don't know if that person is here, but I know that we did have a question about physics and AP physics. Just so you know, if you took AP chemistry or AP physics, it does not clear you of any of the chemistry or physics that you have to take on our campus. You will get units for your AP physics successful test taking, but everyone will have to take the physics 1 to 4 series. That's just a requirement. It's a different kind of physics, and our faculty wants you to know it.
So we had another question about taking upper division courses. So in all of our majors, there are a number of electives within the upper division. That means you get to choose what course you take to fulfill that requirement. It's towards the
here. This is chemical engineering.
Yeah. So yes, you should talk with your advisor. You can start with your major advisor. That's a staff person like us. They can answer a lot of questions about how to choose those courses. And ultimately, they're going to direct you to a faculty member, a professor. Every student must have their elective choices signed off on by a faculty advisor. So we do make sure that you've spoken with somebody about your interests, about what type of career you want to pursue, or if you want to go to graduate school. And that person will help you choose exactly which courses to take to meet your goals.
And you don't have to know that right away by any means. Specifically, like ECE students, our EE and our CE students will sit down with your department advisor and do a technical elective sheet within your sophomore year. So by the time you're going into your junior year, will have reviewed that with a department advisor. Another question we had, that, again, I don't know if that person's here, but it was submitted at registration, is how to prepare for the ELFI. I'm not really sure if there is a way to prepare for the ELFI outside of just practicing writing in English. That's not a test that you pass or fail. It's really to gauge where you are in your English writing. And there's no failing. You'll be placed into a various level of possibly linguistics classes. So some students might need a little bit more review for grammatic purposes or whatnot, and you might be placed into Lean 3, A, B, or C, and you have to take those classes if that's what you're recommended to do. Do not be concerned about the grid if you're placed into linguistics classes. It's always worked out for our students. I've not seen anybody have to be here longer because they had to take a couple extra linguistics refreshers before they could actually get to the writing requirement. So instead, if you do take the LP and you're placed into a Lean class, you will not take writing 1, you'll take linguistics 12, and that will be your entry-level writing requirement. And then you'll move on to either the 2E and 50E series, or just 2 and 50 if you're computer science.
We're definitely happy to answer your questions via email, so please jot down that email address. That's a good resource to have your entire time here.
Reach out to us early in your past 2 this week, since we will be gone for a long weekend and we won't be here on Monday. I don't know if anybody's past times actually go through all the way to the weekend, but we will be gone Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, so we won't be able to answer those questions.
Got another question about AP. If you received a 3, 4, or 5 on the English language or English literature composition exam, you do not need to take the placement test at all. If you received a score of 3 or 4 or 5, start over. If you received a score of 3 on either English test, you've placed into writing 2 or 2E. If you received a score of 4, you've placed into writing 50 or 50E. So that means you do not take writing 2. You may not take writing 2 or 2E. And if you received a 5, you're actually done with the Area A requirement. You won't take a writing course unless you want to take an upper division writing course. Good questions.
Good questions. We'll give you guys a couple more minutes just in case anything pops into your head. I feel like I should have something else to do with something.
Well, we just can't stress enough that we hope you'll come see us. And you can always review the online orientations. But I think there's no substitute for sitting down with an advisor at some point to go over your general education. Just really get any questions out of the way. I think students think of things when they sit in front of us. So
yeah, if you come in and sit with me, I'll pretty much show you how to get all your GEs done in as little classes as possible if that's what you want to do.
Should we put up the poll?
If I created it. Nope.
Nope, just kidding.
No poll. Didn't create a poll. I hope this was helpful for you guys. I did not create my was this helpful poll. If you want to just say yes in the chat or no in the chat or in the anonymous frequently asked questions area, feel free to. We hope that you found this helpful and that I answered some of the questions that you have going into Pass 2. We definitely understand that it's not easy to get to Santa Barbara by any means if you're not in the country or the state.
All right. Have a good day or night.
Yeah. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Yay. Have a good one.